Welcome to Grown Men Chopping It Up. This your boy J.R. Ryder, and I'm with my ace,
Kerry. I say Kerry with a K. This is a safe place for a grown-up after dark talk.
We'll give you a few minutes to put the kids to bed.
Because it's 21 and over.
Alright, let's get to it.
Today's episode brought to you by the good people at Symposium Nights Presents a Minute Mixer. It's going to be at level 13 in Oakland. 341 13th Street, Oakland, California, 94612. It's the old Maxwell's. Saturday at 6:30 p.m. This Saturday.
Yes. And we're going to be on the panel. That's kind of exciting.
Yeah, it is. Somebody thinks we're smart. Little they know.
Yeah, they said they listened to the show and they love it.
That's all right.
So, hey, you know what I wanted to talk about was the show a couple weeks ago when we missed a week after we did about the sons dating their mom. Yeah. So, did you get any kind of feedback from that?
The hate mail has stopped. So far, the ew and all that it has stopped now.
Yeah. So it was people who I think kind of didn't understand. Some people didn't like the technical part that you did in the beginning.
Yep.
They felt like you should have kind of put it in your own words. But I thought it was good that it, lets people know that it was real. It was something that's real. It wasn't something that we were making up. And maybe that if they see these kind of traits, they could go ahead and get some help.
Right. Because I thought my story helped a little bit about the little boy in the restaurant and, kissing on his mom and stuff. And
you know what's so funny? Like, after that, I seen, like, people, like, on the internet or whatever, breastfeeding their kid, and it was, like, the kid was hella old.
He just sucking titty.
Right. Yeah. So that's a parent, holding on a little too long.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to recap, from one person wrote in and said, I agree at most of what was said about women being their son's friend and keeping them sheltered. I still feel that sons need nurturing, but finding a balance. I don't feel like I treat their son like my man, but I know I shelter him in a lot of ways. But I'm learning. Single moms don't come with a handbook.
Right.
And I think that's one of the realest things about life. Life really doesn't come with a handbook.
No.
So it's perfectly okay to make mistakes. As long as you make mistakes where you're trying.
And you recognize when you make them and you correct it.
Yeah. Next person said, I couldn't take too much of it. Tried to fast forward through the beginning, which made me want to puke, but didn't know how. Not the kind of subject I'm into. However, I know I'm missing the point because I didn't wait for it to come. And all the theory and discussion of theory, it was boy. Oh, so I said, what made you, want to throw up? And it was like, it was the theory and discussion. Boys wanted to penetrate both their parents. That did it for me. Couldn't listen anymore. Couldn't figure out how to fast forward, so I turned it off. I did end up figuring out, though, and listened to more of the discussion about boys cooking and teaching boys to be more independent. I think I would be more inclined to listen to more of it if it applied to me. But I'm on my sons about being independent a lot, maybe too much. He gets up, he makes his own waffles, bowl of cereal, pretty much anything that doesn't involve a stove or a microwave. And I think that's good too. Like, you should teach your kids at an early age, boys or girls, to be independent.
Yeah.
Because
like the example is when your son is 4 or 5, and I'm speaking for like if you're a mother, if your son's 4 or 5 and you're laying on your stomach on the bed watching TV, and he comes and lays on your back. That's pretty much innocent. He's 4 or 5. He's just being close to mommy, right? Mm-hmm. If your son is 10 or 11. And you're laying on the bed, and he's much bigger than 4 or 5, and he comes laying on your back with his pelvis where your booty is. There may be something wrong with that. Why is he lining up with your pelvis?
That's pushing it.
It's like, wait a minute. Especially if someone else is sitting there, it's like, why is he like? He's basically, He's humping her.
He's humping your booty.
Right. And some kids are innocent enough to not be doing that, but some boys know what they're doing.
Right.
If he's already been exposed to, nakedness or sex or porn or whatever, then you have to really look at his behavior. Once a kid sees porn, his life is changed.
He's a booty bandit, is what you're saying.
Right. It stimulates him in a way where he goes, "Oh yeah, I like that." It makes his pee-pee feel funny.
I like that stimulation.
Right. And the other thing is the reason why I say penetrate your father is more like he becomes the enemy as far as the Oedipus syndrome is. The father becomes the enemy because he is in the way of you getting that affection from your mother. And in fact, he is giving her affection in ways your mind wants to. Okay. When you hear the bed in there creaking and going on, the little boy's wishing it was him. Okay. So he's the enemy. He's in the way. He wants to push him out of the picture. If it takes to, frame him or get him out of the house or even lie on him, they'll do it.
Yeah. Next person said, it was a good show, but I think that a man can only raise a man. So at the end of the day, some people still think that only a man can raise a man.
And that's not even what we said.
Right, exactly.
If you look at if you just read the notes of it, you would think that would be something that we said because men have firing synapses in their heads and all this, but that's not even where we ended up at.
No, we're somewhere totally different. But I mean, it's cool to get people's feedback and what people think about the shows. I always appreciate that. I've noticed a lot of pop-up copycat shows.
Oh my!
Like
goodness.
They listen to our show and then bam, they have their own show.
Yeah, about the same kind of stuff too.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I guess we can see it as flattering. I guess that's how you know that you're on to the right page. If other people starts doing what you were doing,
yeah,
or trying to take it, So.
And we're not even on a huge platform. It's just us and a little microphone and iTunes.
Yeah, we just But so yeah, that was a little recap of last week's show. The other thing I want to talk to you about, somebody was talking to me, and they said, "Hey, do you think that somebody, is it ever too late for a guy to turn gay?" I said, yeah. But then they were like, you can change your sexual preference or whatever. And,
wow.
So then they start asking me personal questions. Uh-oh. So they say, well, would you let a guy, ram you in the booty? And I said, no, I don't like guys.
Right.
But I guess from our podcast, when we talk about different things with like butt play and where your male G spot is and things like that, they got under the assumption that somehow I would be okay with being gay.
They try to set you up.
Right. And I thought that was funny, but what it made me realize is that there's levels to sexuality. And I think, especially in the African American community, gay and everything is always associated with something so bad in a sense.
Yeah.
Until you talk to the person and then you say, well, if your son was gay, would you still love him? Or if your daughter was gay, no, yeah, of course I would still love him. I don't have a problem with gay people. But the idea of gayness sometimes affects people in different kind of ways. Now, I've said multiple times that a male G-spot is in his butt.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where it is. Your prostate milking and all this stuff. But these are different levels of sexuality. Mm-hmm. And what I said, too, was there's somebody right now who thinks oral sex is just disgusting.
It's dirty.
They think it's the worst thing ever in the world. They would never want to do that. But there's a lot of people who think that's just basic. You know what I'm saying? So there's people who think certain positions are just there's no way they would do that.
Oh, those missionary queens.
Yeah, but I mean, there's levels to the shit. Now I'm not at level 10. There's no way, like I would never want to do anything with a man just because I'm not attracted to men.
Right. Can't get over the hairy ball thing.
Right. Yeah. I mean, women are just so beautiful.
Yeah, and feminine.
But then like there's girls who have become guys. I mean, there's guys who have become girls who are absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, and feminine too.
And feminine in the whole thing. So the question was, well, would you bang one of them? And I said, well, how many drinks have I bought?
How much time have I been in jail?
There's levels to this shit.
How many people are gonna know?
Yeah, did they get top shelf? Or did they get well drinks?
Oh, no.
But I mean, it's still that, I'm personally attracted to females.
Yeah.
So, if you were a male that used to be a female or whatever, it's still not the same.
No, it's not. We may not even be able to tell the difference, but I would rather not.
Yeah. That's not the way I want to go down the street.
Not my preference.
Not my preference. What about you? What's your first topic?
My first topic is about the arguing and solving the problem. It's to stop arguing and solve the problem. Because when you're having an argument, you're dealing with two things: the emotions and the situation. So let's say you come home after a day of work and your girl ain't washed the dishes.
You beat her.
See, that gives you three problems. Problem with the cops. Problem with her knots. No, you got two problems then. The dishes are not dirt. The dishes need doing, and you need to not be in the mood to argue with her. So the first thing you solve is you prioritize the problem. You step to the side and you don't say, "Why in the fuck you do the goddamn dishes?"
Why? This seems like really good communication.
Yeah. Bitch, why you do the dishes?
Yeah.
You step to the side and you wait for your anger to go away, bring your energy down, and try something like write her an angry letter and then destroy it. Listen to some anger music, some rock music or some Tupac or something that's angry, like hit them up. And then you come back to the situation. After you calming down solves one problem. That's the first problem of you being angry at her. Now you still got the dishes that ain't done.
So wait a minute, can I stop you real quick?
Yeah.
So the dishes are a female's duty?
No, I'm just saying, I'm giving it from that. It could be a woman coming home and she either asked him to wash the dishes or he's washed them all week and just this one time he doesn't. Which is a whole nother problem. Now the problem is...
Oh, no, that she shouldn't have asked him to do it and she should have did it?
Well, if you're going to be mad at somebody for not doing something...
Okay.
Do they know that you're going to be mad and why they didn't do it? Like, if it's just one, like an isolated incident, you can't argue with somebody over an isolated incident that small. But you can argue with somebody with an isolated incident that they fell on a dick or sucked the neighbor's cock or something like that. But something like washing dishes, come on.
Right.
It's one time.
Okay.
If it's something that goes on and on and on, it's like, hey, what is the problem with you washing dishes? Mm-hmm. Which is not something... I mean, I've argued over it once.
You've argued over washing dishes?
Yeah, I have. I've done it one time. But my problem was we both had roles. Even if I was the woman, I'm thinking of I'm this entity that does all the work and pays all the bills, right?
Okay, wait a minute. So you're saying that you said if you were a woman, that's really gay.
I'm trying to take the male-female thing out of it.
Okay.
I'm an entity that did all the work.
Okay.
I paid all the bills.
Okay, I gotta have a drink on that.
Her job was to keep the house clean, care for the kids, do the homework.
Okay.
Now, I come home and the dishes are dirty. That's the first problem. Dishes are dirty. Now, I don't say anything that the dishes are dirty. I'm just waiting to see where my food is because there's obviously some eating went on. Right?
Okay.
Check the microwave. There's no food in the microwave for me.
Okay.
Now it's like, hey, what was for dinner? Oh, we ate already. Like, wait a minute, but what do I get to eat? I thought you was going to, eat some. That's never been the plan.
So you're saying that when people break from what the plan is, this is how a good way to address it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. When they break rank from what's normally supposed to go on, there needs to be a discussion.
You sure you don't treat them like when the army and the people try to desert their post?
What do you do then?
Beat them and put them in jail.
You make them peel potatoes?
Yeah.
At least you get something to eat. They peel the potatoes. Fuck, let's make some french fries.
Right.
So you don't fight over isolated incidents and because it's not really worth it. But the thing is, if you and your mate have a sort of keyword or something like that, a keyword or a action or something that you do to get you out of that angry mood, like me and Steph, what we do is I've been pissed off before, and she'll turn around, she say, hey, don't snap at me. Okay. And it takes me out of it for some reason because we're silly like that. So the thing we have is, hey, don't snap at me. It changes the mood, and then we just talk about it. Because that's what it is. It's communication. You just stop arguing and solve the problem. Are you really mad at this thing that you're addressing? Or is it something else? So you have to find out if it's something else that you're mad at. Get that something else out. Because a lot of times people will hold grudges about something and just wait for something minute to happen just so they can blow up at you. Because you'll find out in arguments, you'll be like, hey man, you stepped on my foot. That's not the problem.
Right.
It's some guy in the 6th grade stepped on your foot, and you didn't punch him, and they called you a punk for all of 6th grade, and you wish you would have done something. So now here you are trying to do something. So get to the root of the problem.
Yeah, misplaced anger.
Right, misplaced anger.
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't know if this is kind of like the same thing, but I was in a long-term relationship, and I knew it was over when we had an argument about turn right.
Wow.
So we were on a trip, and I was like, "Oh, the way to go to the freeway, turn right." And she just lost it. I'm fucking turn where I want to fucking turn. I was like, "What? I just want you to turn right. Don't tell me how to drive to the freeway. I've been driving to the freeway before I even met you."
Ooh.
Okay, well, obviously our relationship is no longer.
The respect part is over.
Yeah, the respect part is over in this thing. My bad. But that's how I knew that our relationship was pretty much over.
Wow.
When you argue over turn right.
That's as petty as you get.
Yeah, I thought so.
But that's it. It's just, finding what you're actually mad at and having that conversation, because arguing is never fun. Arguing keeps you out of having sex. You're mad at each other, nobody wants to fuck anymore.
Right. And you know what, sometimes too, let's say you had an argument over something that you know is really petty and stupid, and you might have took it so far. My advice to women is, I like to go over my experience. I was in a relationship, and like I told the story probably 1,000 times now. Mm-hmm. But I remember I was arguing, I was being stubborn. She jumped in the bathroom, she took a shower bath, and she put the Victoria's Secret stuff on. And you know how you smelled a little strawberry. And I'm sitting there like, fuck. And she came out, and she's just drying off, not paying attention to me. My whole mind is like, I am not this mad.
What was it again?
Like this mad right here is not it. So what do you think about when you ignore people, kind of like in an argument or a disagreement? So
makes it worse.
They are trying to argue with you about something, and you just zone them out. Are you able to do that? Are you able to zone out like a person? Like, let's say your girl could be talking to you, and she could say like 50 things, and you heard 2.
Depending on what those 50 things were, yeah. I might have even heard them, but I'd be like, oh, that doesn't qualify. That one sucked. That was stupid. Oh, that was a good one. I might pick out the ones where I think were actually valid and address those. So you actually pay attention. Yeah.
So when I was younger, I could do other stuff and still pay attention to the argument, and they'd be like, what did I just say? Be like, da, 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 da. Now, I can't do anything else. Like, if you're arguing with me, or if you're trying to tell me a point, and I like look at a magazine, or I look at my phone, it's a wrap. I didn't hear anything you just said.
It's like, look, kids, Big Pen.
Yeah, it's like my brain, I have no ability at all to multitask in an argument or anything like that.
That's hilarious.
Because once you start, the thing I have to learn, to do with the whole arguing and the disagreeing thing is, I'm almost like a professional disagreeer. Right? So if we're disagreeing, I will take out my phone and get to my notepad, and I'll write down my points as you're talking. Yeah. I'll pay attention, but I'll write down my points. And then, but okay, you done? Or I do it in my head. Okay, you done?
So you're listening loaded.
Yeah, I listen loaded all the time. And it's one of the worst things you could do.
Right.
Because you kind of listen to their point, but then you're just ready. This is what I hate in an argument. Oh, I know we're going off a little bit. This is what I hate in an argument. When somebody says something, you had an argument 3 months ago. Mm-hmm. And then when they're bringing up this argument today, they go, well, before you just didn't even say anything back to me when I said this. Okay, look, you can't remember what you did Wednesday. Yeah. How can you remember every description of the argument then when I can't remember? Mm-hmm. So I tell people, I like this. Look, I can't argue with you about something in the past because obviously you have a recorder, for a brain, and you can remember everything I said, which is all the shit. None of it doesn't sound like anything I even say. Right. But, so I hate when people do that. They bring up stuff and they're like, oh, well, you said this and this and that. And I'm like, no, I don't remember saying that.
I didn't say that.
So, I don't know. So, where are we at now?
We're at your topic now.
My topic. I don't have one.
I got nothing.
There ain't nothing for you. So my next topic is with now all these smartphones and everything. I just thought about this the other day, and I started doing it. I started narrating my life, and I think it's something that people should do because, with your smartphone, you can go to your notepad, and then it has a recorder on there that'll print out what you're saying. And so I went back in my life, and I just started from my earliest childhood memory. And start trying to put it down on paper because as you get older you kind of forget these things. And I don't even, and it shocked me a little bit because my earliest childhood memory is just a piece of a memory. It's me and my two sisters, and we're walking on some railroad tracks. And I think it's in Indianapolis because we lived there for a small. But that's the earliest childhood memory that I have.
Wow.
Now, I'm sure that there's a lot other ones, but as you get older, those memories get pushed in the back of your brain or to the side or something, and you forget. And as I started going forward, I started writing, I started saying these things and making these paragraphs, and I'm talking about different sections of my life and places where I live, and just little stories. I remember, this story you might remember a little bit. When we used to go to the park in San Diego, when we were, I think this is when we were living in Martin's place.
Oh yeah.
And we used to go to the park all the time. We used to play bumper pool and ping pong.
Yeah.
Right? We used to get the free lunches. And then, remember the park had the park area, but then it had then it had the tree lined area that kind of went down and then back up. And then you go to this thing. Yeah. And you remember the little light skinned girls that lived across the street?
Yeah.
Right. And me and one of the girls, I was walking her home, and we got into the trees, and we started kissing and messing around.
Wow.
But that's a story that I would have never remembered if I just didn't sit down and try to... I mean, that's just like a small story. I can't remember their names. I really can't remember what they looked like. But I know it was two of them. They were sisters.
Yeah. I don't remember their names.
You were talking to one, and I was talking to the other one.
Yeah.
And I was walking her home. We walked through the trees, and we stopped in the middle of the trees, and we started, humping.
Oh, my goodness.
But, I mean, it's like stories like that... You can capture, and like I say, do it now or as soon as you can, because the longer you go, the more you're going to forget. But the thing is, once you start, and then I went to bed and I woke up and I start thinking about so many other stories.
Yeah.
Other things was like, oh shoot, what about when me and my friend almost burnt down the park in San Diego with the damn leaves?
Wow.
Just stuff like that, being in LA, when we were little, and my sister sticking us with needles, and we drinking. I mean, stuff that they mixed together. Like, why
was we even drinking?
Why was we even playing those? But I mean, it's just things like that that I just thought was crazy. Loretta. Martin's daughters getting caught,
two little ugly girls
getting caught stealing. Going to the movies for $5.
Oh man, that I tell that story all the time.
When I went with one of my aunties, and she went to go buy drugs, and the guy said Ready Rock, and then when we got home, I was like, what's a Ready Rock? And she was like, don't be telling people, don't be missing in stuff that you talk too much.
Yeah. You wasn't even supposed to be there.
I'm in the back seat, but I think back now, that's a horrible story.
Yeah.
But I mean, things like that. When I walked to school, and I don't know who red outfit I was in. I don't know. My mom bought me an all red outfit in San Diego, and I was walking to Martin's house from the old house, and Crip was like, what's up with all that dead?
Yeah, oh my goodness.
What does that mean? Like, I didn't know.
I'm a fucking kid.
Yeah, and he took my hat.
Yeah.
But, I mean, just like all those little stories from my childhood, I just think that people should do that. Take a second, sit down, and it's almost like writing your life out.
Yeah, like memoirs.
Yeah, it's like memoirs. And I say you start now because I've forgotten so much stuff. you know, and that when I was laying down, I started remembering all these different stories and different people, and the girl, what was her name? Kim, when we lived on Alderley. She lived down the street.
She was dark skin?
Yeah, she was like my little girlfriend.
Oh, yeah.
She was pretty. I think her name was Kim.
I think it was Kim, yeah.
Yeah, Kim or Coco or
But there are a lot of memories from Alderley, though.
Yeah, but I mean, those type of stories and stuff, they're lost, you know, because, I mean, there's a million stories. Playing football in the street. Yeah. When all the parents bought football gear. We was playing football and all the football gear and everything. You know, I remember I was the fastest on the neighborhood. Then you came. Then you became the fastest. Fucking took my shit. But I mean, that's stuff that you don't think about. It's good memories too. Like once I start going down there, and then I realized that you know, we have a lot of stress and we have all these things in our lives. But sometimes reliving those good, positive memories can bring you joy. Because after I started thinking about when we lived on Arderley Street in San Diego, middle class neighborhood, playing football, riding my bike all over there, it really lifted my spirit. Right. So now it really became like it's like a happy place now. Mm-hmm. So like sometimes when I'm thinking, if you write these things down in your life and you're going through bad or tough times, you can reread the times where you were happy. Yeah. And when life was good.
Reflecting,
and get that positive energy back. You know, to push you, you know, through some stuff sometimes. Yeah. So it's not a lot of times we look back at our past and, you know, me and you, we do it all the time. We talk about, you know, all the bad shit that happened. we had a really good childhood through one section. Yeah. And I think that's what always made us different, no matter what environment we were in. It made us different than the other people. Mm-hmm. We weren't just project kids. We weren't just hood dudes. And, you know, that wasn't the only thing that we knew. We knew actually, you know, I don't know if you remember this, but we carried a football around. Yeah. And we just challenged any two kids that was out. Hey, y'all want to play 1-on-1, 2-on-2? Yeah. And we would play football with anybody who would play football with us and beat them. And our favorite play was, I throw we say hike. I throw the ball as far as I can. You run in there and grab it. Skunking kids. Right. There's some kids right now who probably still got a complex for the ass whooping we gave them out there. But I'm just saying, like, so. I think it's a really thing that I think everybody should do. Yeah. Just start at your earliest childhood memory. And then the next phase of what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to you about certain things and see your perception of it. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I think it'd be cool to do a section on my perception of a certain time period and then go talk to my sister, go talk to people who were involved in that and get their perspective. Yeah, I think that'll be really cool, too, to just see the two. And it's like, oh, no, you never know. You might do that and end up having a bestseller book.
Yeah. It'd be like Pulp Fiction. Everybody's different perspective.
Yeah. Okay. What's your topic? Enough of that.
Enough of that gay stuff. By the way, though, that street on Alderley is one of the most notorious neighborhoods in San Diego.
Hey, right, so if we would have stayed there, we would have became notorious drug dealers?
Yeah, we would have been drug dealers and Crips right now. My next topic is about 10 dirty little secrets about marriage. Now, some of you folks are not married. Some of you are. But you each should find a happy medium on these 10 dirty little secrets about marriage. The first one is, sometimes you get on each other's nerves. Yes, sometimes you get on each other's nerves.
Just sometimes?
If you put two imperfect people together long enough, eventually differences will ignite minor spats about minor things that might turn major. This doesn't mean the relationship is bad. As long as you have good communication skills, you'll get through them without much strife. Now, you just have petty little arguments about whatever. You get on each other's nerves. Number 2, sometimes sex is the last thing on your mind. Imagine that. Yes, a man said it. Sometimes in real life, where there are real responsibilities, sex gets pushed to the back burner. It doesn't mean you don't love each other.
I don't want that life.
It just means you have to become conscious about making it a priority again.
Okay.
Like, you two could be so busy with regular stuff that you're not feeling, frisky.
So tell me this. I hate cutting you off.
That's all right.
So
we love it.
If you wake up in the morning as a man, you wake up with a heart on, right? Mm-hmm. So at that point, doesn't that make you want to poke something?
Well, it makes you want to poke something, but can you? Is it time to get up to go to work? Is it time to get up, wake the kids up so they can get to school? That's priorities.
Being responsible.
Yeah, I mean, I might wake up with a hard on and have only 30 minutes to get to work. Now, is it responsible that I'm late to work? I might just call in if it's all about that.
Yeah.
Number 3, sometimes the best moments are spent doing absolutely nothing.
True.
Just because a married couple embraces moments of nothingness, it doesn't mean marriage is boring or the couple's headed for divorce. Sometimes between work, kids, and life, couples embrace these moments of nothingness and a little sleep.
Yeah, I can. That's dope.
I sleep. I mean, we take long naps.
Because y'all old.
Because we'd be tired from the sex part.
Oh, okay.
Number 4, I won't always be perfect. It won't always be perfect.
Okay.
Any long-term relationship goes through seasons. Some of extreme happiness, some of stress, some of transition, and sometimes even sad moments. This is why you have a life partner to get through things with. Life isn't perfect, and neither is marriage. Like your grandmother, our grandparents stayed together for so long, there are probably times they hated each other. Mm-hmm. But neither one of them, left. They didn't get a divorce for it. Mm-hmm. It's just times they didn't get along. And those times might have been horrible for either one of them, because I know he drank a lot. Anyway, number 5, you get out what you put in. Just like your career or any worthwhile venture, you have to invest in it if you want it to grow. A good marriage doesn't just happen, it's nurtured and built. Like if you're only putting a little bit in, that's what you're going to get out. Because you each may need that push for each other. I might have to, encourage her. Mm-hmm. As she might have to do me the same way. Number 6, men have feelings too. I mean, a lot of us are cavemen. But some of us have feelings too. Ladies, you'll find out in long-term relationship, after we take off the tough guy mask and expose ourselves, we have feelings too. Those feelings don't make us soft or emotional. They make us human. And when we stop having those feelings, then you should be worried. If the things that affected me at first don't affect me anymore, that's when you should start worrying. Because Melissa's getting this dick. Number 7, people and circumstances will test your bond. Your family, friends, coworkers, job situations, and many other things will test the strength of your bond. If you let everything outside of your marriage dictate how you feel inside of your marriage, it won't survive. Everyone won't always support you, and life won't always make things easy. In fact, there's a lot of people that are against you when you're in a happy relationship, period. There are people that are jealous of it. There's people that are pulling at you from somewhere else to make you want to do stuff you used to do. Okay. You can still hang with these people, just don't do the things you used to do.
Yeah.
Number 8, love isn't enough. I have to say that again. Love isn't enough.
But they say love cures all.
Yeah, and kills all too. Building a family and relationship needs love as strong as part of a foundation, but many other factors must exist as well. Loving each other is important, but it isn't enough. You gotta respect and all those other things. And head, plenty of head. Head, more head. Number 9, marriage isn't for everyone. I know you appreciate that one. Marriage takes a lot of selflessness. Just from the discussions on the show, Marriage takes a lot of selflessness, sacrifice, and serving. And that's not for everyone. It takes a different mindset to bring two people together and build a family and work on the dynamics of Jamestown. Oh, that's not what it says. It's not a task that everyone is up for. And it's okay. If you understand this about yourself, don't take a leap into the pool of marriage.
I don't like your topic.
The last one, number 10, it is worth it. There are so many positive things to enjoy a healthy marriage that make even the realities of these dirty secrets worth it. The love, the support, the partnerships that come out of a great marriage are simply amazing. Even when a chapter or two aren't great, it's still a wonderful novel. And those are just a few of the realities of marriage that you can't be ashamed to talk about, and it makes marriages thrive.
I'm going to throw up.
Amen. I'm going to hurl.
Yeah. I mean, that's some good points. I mean, there is such a lot of good things. There's a lot of good things about marriage. I have people who told me that I can't talk about marriage because I'm not married.
That sucks.
Yeah, so you're like, Gary, you can't. Every time I say something about marriage, they say not to say something. I can't speak on it.
You're a hush.
Yeah, I gotta be quiet. So whatever, I'm gonna roll with that. But also, one of the good things about I think should be good about marriage is that you're able to get a lot of head.
Yeah, definitely. You get head on demand.
But if you're married and you don't get head and you really want to get head, what can you do about that?
You catch her while she's half asleep and you put it in her mouth.
It's rape.
Or you see her while she's sitting on the couch and you stick it in her face. I mean, there's no such thing as marital rape.
So what you're? Well, wonder if she just doesn't like doing it anymore.
Well, one thing people say is once you're married, certain things stop.
Okay.
So for some people it's head, for some people it's sex. Period.
Okay.
And some people will change. You just have to remind them that this is why you married them. It's like you had that conversation. Like, look, I was getting head every other day when we was dating. You kind of slacking off a little bit. Let me slap you in the face with it.
But she doesn't want to do it. Like, I don't want to do it. She doesn't want to do it.
Oh, you tell her a story. Hey,
he doesn't want to do it. He don't want to eat her out.
Yeah, that's bad. You can go a lot of ways. You can go the hey, somebody wanted to suck my dick today story.
What story is that?
Because it's happened to me at work.
You were at work and somebody said, hey, you got a nice haircut today. Would you mind some head?
Craziest thing ever. I was almost at the end of my shift and this lady just came up. She's like, man, I just really want to suck your dick. I was like, what?
You was like, I love you?
Who else is looking? It was a long time ago.
Okay, a long time ago.
But it did happen. That's for real.
And so then you told your girl that this happened.
Yeah, and then, I got more heads. See how that works?
Well, shit, I'm gonna get that tattooed on me.
I better suck it before the stranger does.
Yeah, true. So you saying use a reverse psychology?
Yeah. Or you watch a lot of head porn. She come in the room and you sitting there on the big screen with women sucking dick. Like, ooh, get it.
I would love some of that.
Wow, that looks great. It might help. It might not.
Yeah.
If it doesn't, try something else.
Okay. All right. So, do we have a email, letter, question?
Yeah, we got a question. It's kind of long, though.
All right. Well, get to reading.
All right, this is a question. He doesn't give his name right away, but he made this long-ass question. He says, what's going on? I'm not sure if I should walk away from my marriage. I've been with my wife 5 years, married, and for about 7 months, a lot of blessings have come about, like the birth of our daughter.
Aww.
We currently have a new child on the way.
Aww.
The issues have arrived,
Aww.
such as loss of trust between the both of us.
Aww.
Many attempts have been given by myself, but I either get unresponsive attitude or nothing at all. So things never really get resolved. Sex has slowed down tremendously. It's only when she wants it which makes me distant, and when I'm doing what a husband should do, any such as working, coming home, cooking, making sure the bills get paid, cleaning the house, he's doing a lot of shit. Not saying that she shouldn't do those things, but I'm the one majority of the time doing them. And just being turned away from requests that I may have for her when she can ask me for anything and it be done makes me feel less of a man. And I'm sure a man's man. So I take it as disrespect, and that adds to the problems we already have. These past 2 months have been kind of the deal breaker for me. My wife and I have been having a conversation. I was stating the fact, saying that she should appreciate the things I do, because I watched my mom struggle to raise 4 children on her own, with me being the oldest. Mind you, my wife is an only child. Her parents are more well off than mine, but I was trying to get her to understand that in this day and age, there aren't too many fathers with women that have had children and didn't want that for us or my children with her. I don't want us to fall into that category, and let alone marry. She didn't understand. I don't know if it's because she's younger than me. She's 24 and I'm 27. They're kids. But I was just trying to open her eyes a little to society, and her answer was pretty much, I can take care of my child with or without you. Notice how I made her sound stupid? And I understand strong black women can feel that way, but it doesn't mean it should be done. So with that being said, we got into a blown up argument, and she'd been staying at her mom's house. I'm not going to lie, after numerous attempts to get her to come back home, being the person she is, which is that she continually holds grudges and things against me, all the time, I stepped out on her. And now I'm begging and pleading for her forgiveness to come back. She wants us to be together, which she said, but is still showing no signs at all things will actually get better between us. I don't want to fight and argue with her. I just want her to be home and to be in love with the woman I married. Should I leave or stay and just put my own happiness on the back burner again?
Okay, so got a couple things in this long. Hey, bruh.
You was taking notes.
Hey, I appreciate. I was taking notes. I appreciate you writing in. This subject can only be handled by trained professionals. And we're not going to let Kerry with a K talk about it.
Right, we're not Ghostbusters.
I'm going to tell you what to do. One, this is the first problem that you have. When you say less than a man, that's where you have to check yourself. Mm-hmm. You can't, nobody can be in charge of your manhood except you. You're a man no matter what. Right? So that's A. If you got $2 in your pocket, you still a man. Right. If you got 50 cents in your pocket, you still. If you got no money in your pocket, your pocket look like rabbit ears. Conduct yourself like you got $1 million in your pocket. Yeah. At the end of the day, that's why I call it Jamestown. Jamestown, I'm the mayor of Jamestown. Now I could have a budget of $1 million. I could have a budget of $2 million. No woman or man can say or do anything that's going to deter my manhood. So. Hey, that's problem A. You have to get a grip on your manhood. Yeah. Get a big grip. All the cooking and cleaning after you have worked all day, that's absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
You can't take on, there's roles in relationships. And I'm not going to say male or female roles. What I'm going to say is there's dominant and there's feminine roles. That
this sounds the same to me.
So there's roles. So if you want her to be the female, you have to let her be the female. You have to give her those kind of roles, because by you taking some of them, you might be pushing her to take some of yours.
Yeah.
So she's going to take some of the masculine position, which it sounds like, and then it seems like you're taking some of the feminine positions. So as you got to decide what you want, how you want your relationship to go. So it just like the girls who end up, with the better job and taking care of the dude, and the dude, he's at home cooking and cleaning. He's taking the female and she's taking the male. That's problems. So you want a traditional relationship, well then you got to set it up a traditional way. I'm not saying that you got to have her cooking and cleaning and stuff for you every day. You guys could do meal prep. You can cook together. You can do these things, but you do have to free up that time for when you get home, that you could either concentrate on her, concentrate on yourself, concentrate on your kids. If you're taking that time up by cooking and cleaning and she's not appreciating it, that's on you, bruh. Mm-hmm. Next one, stepping out. Why do you feel bad? Wait.
What's the problem?
No. And I say that to say this. If your girl hasn't given you head, if your girl hasn't given you intimacy, if your girl hasn't given you the love that you need as a lion of the jungle, then she's saying, hey, I think it's okay if you go cheat. And it's not really cheating. And how did she find out? Write us back and tell me that. Did you tell on yourself? How did you get caught?
Right. She wasn't even around.
Right, she wasn't even around. But I mean, if she's not taking care of you, I think she's giving you the green light to go out and do it. Yeah. And if you was in a different zip code, it doesn't count. So don't feel bad about it. It's something that happened. You know what? You learn from it, and you just go forward. I mean, you can only apologize so many times.
Right. It sounds the same.
And we all make mistakes. You made a mistake. You know what? You man up about it, and you only made that mistake because you were pushed into that direction. So, it's not your fault.
Yeah.
Last but not least, I say this. If you want her back, you can't beg somebody to love you. Mm-hmm. You got to accept them where they are, and they have to accept you. So, for instance, if she is saying that she doesn't want to do X, Y, and Z, you can't make her. So all you can do is, if you stay in a relationship, know that that's what you're going to get. Stop trying to change her. You can try to give suggestions. You can kind of show her. But if she doesn't pick up on it, that's it, dude. There's nothing you can do. If you stay, shut up. Mm-hmm. If you stay, shut up and just ride it out. If you're going to be there for the kids, then just be there for the kids, not there for yourself. That's my point.
Pow. You know, Dr. Phil couldn't have said it better.
Hey, we got to wrap this show up.
All right, let me invite y'all to the Symposium Nights again. Symposium Nights, April 9th at Level 13 in Oakland. The old Maxwell's, 341 13th Street, Oakland, California, 94612. Saturday at 6:30, April 9th.
Turned down for what? Hey, until next week.
Peace.
Peace.